Hello everyone. This video is about the TV show, The Queen's Gambit, which I promised I will be discussing. But let me start by repeating something that I've already said previously on this channel. And that is this: when we talk about a creative work, when we talk about a work of art, and I include that in that category some TV shows and some of the popular movies that we have watched. When we discuss such works, we are always selective and biased, and our discussion, our commentary, usually is framed according to our interests. So I'm beginning this by admitting and reminding us that a work of art, a creative work, always has more to give than our commentary of it. So I invite you to also consider what is left, or what other alternative ways are there to discuss this story, this TV show. The way I am approaching The Queen's Gambit is intertwined with my interest in education, and more specifically in the relationship between students and the teacher. There are no spoilers in what I'm going to say, no major spoilers. Everything I'm saying is covered, I think, in the first one or two episodes at most. All we need to know about the story is that our main character, as a little girl, for some reason ends up going to a boarding school, and there she meets a janitor. Accidentally, she ends up meeting a janitor in the basement of the school, and he becomes her main teacher in a domain that is most significant, ends up being most significant to her life. So she begins learning from him. With reference to this story, I want to bring out a few points that are illustrated in this story, I think, very effectively. Point number one: the educational relationship between students and teachers. The educational relationship is not always designed in advance and imposed on students. Instead, it can be something that the student discovers. The student stumbles upon the figure of a teacher, or somebody who then becomes a teacher. And that can have the character of an accident, character of a discovery. The second point: the student encounters not only the teacher, but the teacher's interest, the teacher's passion, and the teacher's commitment. We see in the story that the student, the girl, encounters the teacher in a moment when the teacher is solving a puzzle, playing a game, in a game of chess that he is exploring by himself. And he is immersed in the activity. So the teacher, again, doesn't come in introducing himself as the authority, as a figure who is going to give something, going to impose some kind of educational program. Instead, the teacher is encountered in a moment when he is immersed in the domain, in the activity. Next, the teacher doesn't harass the student, imposing his authority and using the authority to justify how the student should then conduct herself. This is illustrated very nicely with the help of the chessboard in our story. The chessboard organizes the relationship between the two sides, organizes the relationship such that the two parties meet on equal grounds. And in fact, if it is completely and absolutely established that the two parties are not equal, that one of them is a master and the other one is a novice, that one of them is obviously going to win and there's no question about that, in such a case, there's really no point in playing the game. And even when a novice plays a master, even when the two meet for a game, they meet in some sense as equals. As equals who are going to explore something for the first time, something unique, and a unique encounter, an experience from which both of them might learn. The chessboard is a shared point of reference, something that two people will pay attention to. It's a field in which the student and the teacher join each other and participate in a common space. Finally, it's always possible for the student to go beyond the teacher. It is always possible for the student to go somewhere, reach something that the teacher could not even dream of getting to. So, to put all these in a slightly different way, let me read a passage from a book by Sam Rocha, a recent book published in 2020, called The Syllabus as Curriculum. We read, quote, "The teacher does not possess education as an object. Think about the chessboard and the game of chess. The teacher does not possess the game of chess. Education is not a possession of this sort. The teacher can only bear witness to the truth of education. Just like how the teacher in our story, the janitor, he is bearing witness to something that is happening in front of him. He's a participant in that, whatever is happening, but he is not fully able to determine the direction in which that event is going. Like holiness and the saint, the sign of their witness is something they can never claim for themselves. The teacher is like Moses. They set the captives free, but cannot enjoy the same freedom for themselves. As I said previously, this is another way of saying this, is to say that it is always possible for the student to go somewhere that a teacher could not even dream of going. The teacher is at most a student, and this is something that should be emphasized in a student-teacher relationship. Within a teacher, within the character of a teacher, the role of the teacher has to be an active student. This is fleshed out very effectively, very visibly in the Queen's Gambit. All right, let me know what you think. If you have other thoughts, as I said, my discussion was very selective, rooted in my own interest in education, very biased discussion. If you have other thoughts, if you think that there are more central, more important themes in this story, feel free to let me know. I will be very interested in hearing about them. Thank you for watching my videos. If you'd like to support what I do, you can visit my Patreon page. A few people have already joined as my patrons. And to show my gratitude, I have started making exclusive content for my supporters. The first of this includes a series about my own education and my journey in academia. You can access those videos with the minimum level of support. There's also a reading group you can join at the next level. And then the next 2 levels are essentially private study with me if you decide to do that. Anyways, hope you enjoy the content, and I will talk with you soon.